Alrighty then, my gamers. Sorry we're a little bit behind in schedule this time around. Have to do some last minute tweaking that I had neglected, but now it is Sunday evening, as you might have noticed. I hope so. We're just about to get ready with the weekly bounty hunters. So our roster of the evening consists of 6 show matches across all different skill levels. That said, we're always open for basically everybody to participate, and you know, we always attempt to match the participants with opponents of equivalent skill levels, so we can do some fun, even matches here. As per usual, the name of the game is Kill the Year Strive, and the format is first to 7 wins. I'm your usual host QK, and now let's see, how do we do this? Let's speedrun this. Can we even talk about the schedule? Let me actually message the players who are bound for the first slot. I think they actually know. We're probably gonna skip straight to the card. We'll talk about the matches when the time is right, but yeah, we got a couple of different things in our pocket for tonight. We have one random match. We got high level matches, we got intermediate level matches, we got all levels of matches, and let's see what's in for the first slot. So this is Bunnix making their debut match on Bounty Hunters versus Detada, who I think has appeared once. I think it was on a different character even. Let me dig up my datasheet as well. Yeah. Member served perfectly. Detada was playing Bedman for his debut match on Bounty Hunters. Or wait, are my... No. That's right. I forgot to switch the order of the cards. So which match we're playing? We're playing this matchup. This matchup, right? Sorry about that. I'm mixing myself up once again. So Longingly and Ice-Kabob, 2 new players, both representing the GreekFGC. I believe might have been even friends who signed up at the same time, but since we had, how to put this, we had only so many, because there were only so many players to match against each other this time, we matched these fellas against each other on the first go. So let me see, what do I need still? This, and yeah, I'm becoming jaded. I'm coming unprepared. Or maybe it's the fact that there was a lot of stuff to prepare. Okay. We just start when you're good to go. Do we have both players in the lobby already? I think so. Okay. Oh, right, because I fixed this one in the wrong order as well. Right. Yeah, like this. Okay, let me fix my own notes so that I don't completely talk out of my ass for the whole event. Yeah, okay, now we should be on the board. So Longingly, Biken, Ice-Kabob versus Venom. There we go. So the characters with completely different game plans. As we know, Biken kind of wants to get in and mix. Venom would like to start from afar. He's kind of okay hanging in the back, but usually when you get an opening, when you find a hit at neutral, you kind of transition into the mix-up game that Venom is kind of known for, at least in the past titles. Venom kind of a character who has pretty decent mix game on knockdown, but also pretty, well, at least had pretty okay pressure in the previous games, and still has that carcass raid, which sort of is like an on-demand plus frame generator. So still has pretty decent prospects for keeping the pressure alive. Alright, I think we only have Ice-Kabob, but still looking for Longingly. Yeah, we had to do a couple of tweaks to this week's roster. The original 7 matchup event turned into a 6 matchup event, and then we had some last minute switcherinos for the order of the matches tonight. Okay, we have both players ready to go, ready to rock. Only like 7 minutes late. It's okay. It's okay. We only have 6 matches tonight, so we have a little bit of a buffer to make mistakes, or rather, I guess when it's something cool, I should say we, and when it's something uncool, then it's the TO's responsibility. Isn't that how this works? Yeah, we can start. Okay, here we go. Definitely love the matchups where you have. It's kind of like two of my favorite kinds of matchups are when both of the characters kind of bring the same thing into the game. That's why I actually love mirror matches. A lot of people don't. But then the other side of the sort of spectrum is when you have two very different kinds of characters, two characters that want to run like completely different game plans. Although once you get the hit in, it's not like these characters have like super different game plans. Both kind of gonna want to go in and mix the opponent up if possible. But of course, Baiken is really good at that. Good mix-ups, a lot of layers of mix-ups, and a lot of destructive damage when you actually manage to hit the mix-up. Baiken in that sense is kind of like a odd character out from all the set play characters in the game. Because like your Milias, Inos, that kind of characters usually tend to not do as much damage, but they just flow really well from the mix-up to mix-up. And already, Longingly is kind of putting on the show what that damage means once you do get in on Baiken. Gunshot super completely misses. Now let's see if Ice-Kabob can turn this around. No, the life disadvantage a little bit too much, and especially since Longingly was working with that 100 meter, that's a lot of stuff to overcome. Resources are, of course, super important. Meter, especially in this game. It's like throughout the Guilty Gear history, it's always been the case that the character, rather the player who has more. Ooh, went under the far slash there with the 2 heavy from Baiken, and a really good instant air dash as well. Holding Ice-Kabob in the corner, managing to momentarily get away. But speaking of resources, we got that burst going for. That was a successful taunt combo there into a kill. That wasn't even a combo drop. That was kind of cool. Also, I should probably fix the names here as well. Yeah. Okay. One more mistake for the road, so it's 1-0 Longingly. Yeah, this event is scuffed this week. But yeah, like, and here's me who doesn't even have a taunt bounce to their button layout because I just don't have the buttons. Alright, with the drive-by Yozan. For another, I think it's a respect, right? So the full taunt usually is when you cannot interrupt this animation, if memory serves correctly. Ooh, but straight into the Dark Angel. This could potentially be a momentum switch here. Can't get hit even once though, and there's a good, well-placed instant air dash jump slash once again. That's a very common party starter for Baiken players. It is one of the more stable jump slashes in the game. Really deep hit, good horizontal range, comes out fast, has decent amount of active frames, and most importantly, has the numbers backing it up. If you manage to get a hit with that, it usually hits pretty hard. And you can set up a Okizene afterwards as well. The nice combo, wanting the wall break for sure here. Costs you 50 meter, but surely that's not a problem for Longingly, because they are working with another stick of butter, using that to avoid the Dark Angel. And the gold burst lives as well. Now Ice-Kabob has absolutely nothing left to work with. than your normals and your raw, you know, fireballs. Actually, it might be a decent idea to preface this by saying that there is a little bit of a skill gap here between the players. Of course, Longingly is sort of the favorite to win this. It's gonna be interesting to see what Ice-Kabob can potentially do here. Oh, there we go with the wrist again. Which, of course, in Guilty Gear games, you can usually, after a couple of frames, you can cancel into stuff. So previously in many other installments of Guilty Gear, you could potentially use that respect as a mix-up of sorts. That was an interesting sequence there. So the Dark Angel Gold Burst, still holding the opponent hostage in the corner. Longingly missing a couple of parries there. Switching sides, Stinger into, looking for potentially one more hit. There we go, the instant air dash. Working from this side of the matchup as well. Quite able to go under the Stinger. I forgot which Stinger version that is. S version is the faster one, right? Right, double upping. We can get the corner, but probably not the wall break just yet. A little bit too far here. Blocking the full charge dust. And burst comes back in time. Dark Angel. Can we still steal this round? Into the Dark Angel. That's a pretty decent choice there. Would have been knocked into the ongoing Dark Angel and potentially brought to the wall as well. Switching sides now. Ice-Kabob with a little bit more real estate, but not the life to quite seal it out here. To go for a far slash, however, once again, Longingly coming out of that exchange. Skip out of the corner. Longingly strikes once again with an instant air dash jump slash. Ice-Kabob able to build that 50-meter that we probably have to use here to escape if possible, but unfortunately takes a counter hit. I won't be able to utilize any of those resources. Longingly marching on with 3 straight wins here. And a lot of respect mix-up kind of a situation. I guess we should, yeah, like, usually those are... I guess Longingly has played those in a couple of different ways. Has played sort of the taunt aspect of the taunt button as well during those combos, and then in those pressure situations using the respect button, which you can in fact cancel pretty early. So if you can make your opponent sort of react to that animation, you can kind of trap them in a way. But of course, you know, not the strongest thing that you can do, because you do put yourself in the harm's way, so to speak, while you are starting up the taunt. Alright, 4th match. Let's see what we can cook here. Starting with the 2 heavy, which is extremely minus on block here. And Ice-Kabob taking the punish. Stinger as well. Stinger is like surprisingly big amount of stuff that you are going to be doing as Venom in Guilty Gear Strive. I mean, it always has been a very steady like fireball option to deny the horizontal kind of trajectory of the stage. But especially in Guilty Gear Strive, there's a lot of power level on that. Nice side swip. Able to summon the pull, but not quite keep Longingly in the corner. Dark Angel is an option available as well. But a good instant air dash once again. Keep away characters like Venom are like super incentivized for keeping an eye on sort of the air game of the opponent. Because if you have like one of the best projectile games in the game, it's really hard to do stuff against you on the ground, and Venom definitely that kind of character. Unless you utilize a jump, it's theoretically it would be possible for Venom to sort of like potentially permanently lock you out of being able to play the game. Look at a lot of stutters here. Hopefully the connection is not too bad. It is, I believe, you know, Grease versus Grease. So it would be extremely unfortunate if if that connection type did not work properly. The classic UK to UK connection that... Oh, here comes the Dark Angel, and I think Longingly doesn't have that much of life to spend here. The Gun Super will actually detonate upon impact. There's a lot of stutter. I do hope that it's gonna get better. We're gonna have to see after the match like what the players wanna do about it. Wow, is this just a bad internet day, or is one of the players having a computer PC stroke, if you will? I'm trying to see if it would pass, but alright, looks a little bit better now. Life advantage definitely on the side of Longingly. And able to go for another taunt into an instant air dash jump slash. It's a PC thing? Yeah, it's kind of usually the case that if there's a huge amount of stuttering, it can sprout from your PC, like not running in full 60 FPS. Alright, well placed Stinger here. Able to get the second hit of the sweep. Both players going for a risky option there, I think. Throw for Ice-Kabob and Longingly a parry. Once again, it's Longingly who has the life lead, able to get an instant air dash in. Disengaging. Oh, I think I see instant air dash coming out. So no, that was a normal jump. So still has an opportunity to break from that jump trajectory and avoid the Dark Angel. And then the classic instant air dash jump slash into Yozan. You can connect that jump slash very high up in the air as well, and it still goes into Yozan for plus frames. Maybe we get a 2P out of the corner. Response from Longingly is the burst. Ooh, missing the instant air dash. DK Yozan there turning into jump slash. Ice-Kabob not getting out of the corner for free. Getting gomboed for a little bit. The life situation is quite even. Able to find it. Too heavy is that. One more. If you complete the combo, not quite. Can't quite bring it home. But there's the instant air dash from the left side. Would be really nice to get Ice-Kabob on the board here. Try to go for the respect mix-up again. The early Alvarez here from Ice-Kabob. Landing those hits. And the burst. Oh my god, that jump slash reaches so far. This should be an instant air dash, yeah. One of the problems if you do commit to an instant air dash in Guilty Gear games, it does sort of lock you out of being able to block for a while. So there's like a short period where you're sort of forced to go into that instant air dash trajectory without an ability to block. And if there's something coming at you during that window, such as the Dark Angel here, you are basically guaranteed getting hit. So that makes, like, compared to just casual neutral jumping and jumping forward, jumping backwards, it does make air dashing a little bit more committal. In the older games, you also could not tech throws during that window, but I think Strive might have changed that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Strive does still allow you to tech throws during the instant air dash window.
Versus Venom. Duel 1. Let's rock.
I pushed into the corner. Venom does have pretty decent buttons. Like, you don't necessarily have a lot of ways to reversal out of the opponent's pressure, but historically Venom has like super good mid-range and close-range buttons. Buttons that characters like Bike can potentially like have a lot of difficulties contesting. But now from this range, we are indeed deep in Baiken's element. The pressure resets with the kabaris, and of course the mix-ups, out of which the usual suspect is the instant air dash TK Yozan. Sorry, not instant air dash, but the point blank TK Yozan, which very classic tool for opening your opponent up. Ooh, got the hit there. That TK Yozan is the sort of the threat you're proposing to your opponent, and the reason why they sometimes do get hit with lows such as the 2D there from Longingly. Try to go in for the throw. Is able to get it here, attaching the tether as well, and a big counter hit from 6K. We got the combos. Ice-Kabob knows. Reversal super, did we press a button? Yes, indeed. That could be close to a kill. Will, in fact, gonna be the kill. Decent amount of damaging potential there. Behind that Tsurane Sanzo Apasi. And now 6 points Longingly, looking for potentially one more.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Ooh, nice! The timing on the too heavy. Does have enough low profile frames to be able to go, you know, it has gone through the R slash from Venom so far, and seems like able to sneak in the stingers as well, if the spacing and timing is correct. Speaking of the too heavy once again. One of the favorite tools to engage here. Set point Longingly. One more. Ooh, interesting. There are, yeah, of course, cases where you're not close enough, where you just sort of stroll down or like roll, slide down under the fireball and still not end up reaching the opponent. Ice-Kabob with the hit. Can't quite convert it into an Oki situation. Of course, the raw damage advantage going in favor of Bike, and if we can actually finish this combo, now goes for one more of those towns. Not quite over yet. Can Ice-Kabob overcome it? Far slash. We need at least one or maybe two more. Two more S buttons. Gonna be one more with that, however. No mercy from Longingly. Instant air dash to seal the deal. Taking it 7-0. Of course, being the more senior player here, not necessarily a surprising turn of events. But taking hit here on the debut matches for both of these players on Bounty Hunters, and hopefully we manage to get signups from, you know, around this skill range in the future. So maybe we can squeeze these players on the roster in the future as well. All right, now for the mix-up. Which one is it next? Is it this one? Yeah, I think the random match is gonna be the one that we play next. So that would be Koolmees and Freygarr. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask Freygarr if they want to do with or without duplicate random characters. And I think Freygarr wanted a couple of minutes before joining. Okay, so without duplicates is gonna be the way here. We could actually start already by randoming Freygar's first character as we're waiting for them to join the lobby. So let's bring out our role view here. So if you've never seen a random character matchup on Bounty Hunters, basically how it goes, this time we only have one player randoming, which is going to be Freygarr. Koolmees is going to be character locked into her main character, which is Jacko. And since without duplicates has been called, we are going to remove the character that gets randomed out from the wheel so that no character occurs twice. We have all the 32 characters ready to be chosen. Let's pick up the first one. And Potemkin is gonna be the first one. And how this usually goes, like you see the sort of a chart in the top side of the screen. This is basically Freygar's self-evaluation of all of the characters. This is actually an older chart, but I think we didn't quite have the time to do an updated one. But this should have all the characters except Lucy, as far as I can tell. Yeah. This is a chart from an earlier version. But if we do end up randoming into Lucy, we can ask Freygarr what the status of their Lucy at the moment is. But we are starting with Potemkin, and the funny thing is, like, I'm not quite sure if the Potemkin tier was here like sort of a sarcastic remark, or like a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek kind of an insert, or if this actually is Freygar's top pick. But we do start with that guy Potemkin, who has been public enemy #1 for quite a while. Overall in the sort of competitive landscape of Guilty Gear Strive. Frey main spot? Okay, that makes sense then. It's if it was just about any other character up there, I would be like, okay, so this is just the main. But because Potemkin has that reputation, I was like, is this a tongue-in-cheek entry? But okay, we actually have the lore coming from chat. Of course, being a random select match, there is a little bit of luck of the draw involved here. And usually what we try to do with the random select matches is to match players like according to like where their overall power level sort of tends to land. And if we theoretically manage to do that, then like the higher tier entries should be advantageous for the randoming player, and the bottom tier entries should be advantageous to the opponent. But of course, this is all speculation, and there's just a lot of different factors when going into a random select match like this. So Potemkin in the corner, going for the blaster a little bit earlier, actually landed that jump slash as a hit. Will just extend the opponent's throw input frames a little bit, but here comes Koolmees. Let's see what we can do with the goober pressure. Ooh, going into the recall command. Getting a frame trap and one hit, or a couple of hits is usually what it takes. But from this situation, definitely one hit kill for Freygarr. I think I also forgot to turn the lobby into single match, so hopefully the players will go back to the lobby after this. with the low. And now time to mix guard crush. Deflect shield is usually the option that you do want to play, especially if it's the deflect shield. You're usually looking to sort of deflect that if possible, because it's very dangerous afterwards. The Buster is an option that would completely destroy the deflect shield. And Freygarr is gonna take the first one with the strongest of their characters. Not a huge surprise there, I think. Next random is gonna be Lucy. Speaking of that, Lucy. Of course we would try random Lucy straight away. And the funny thing is, like, around the time when we took a little bit of a hiatus from Bounty Hunters, that sort of exactly after Lucy was introduced. So after the debut, or not really debut, but the Lucy release event, we haven't really had a lot of Lucy entries. In fact, none after that. So this would be the first Lucy after her introduction that we see on Bounty Hunters. Funny, it appears here on a random select match. The good news is Lucy is like sort of eased the pilot on the sort of front-loaded side. Her problems become a little bit more apparent when you dive more into the mechanics, and especially as your opponent starts understanding Lucy more. Like her mobility is great, her buttons are great. Her damage is not necessarily that great, and her pressure is a little scary for herself to run. Like as a if you're like a basic good strong fundamentals kind of a fighting game player, then playing Lucy should be fairly intuitive a lot of the time. And she can definitely contest Jacko from sort of like the mid-range, far-range buttons like far slash. Speaking of the devil, almost at the maximum range of the YRC. I wouldn't have been surprised if the YRC actually got baited there. Looking into the mono wire. Generally, our game plan is getting that mono wire on if possible. The downside is, or the dangerous side is, that you have to charge the mono wire in order to be able to land the sort of the special state that Lucy can land. And I still forgot to flip the lobby into winner stays. Let's fix that. And then go into the next roll. So Lucy and Potemkin out of the pool. 1-1, both players are on the board, so to speak. May is gonna be the next random for Freygarr. And May is in, or at least previously was in, the Please No tier. So these bottom 5 characters, probably the ones that Freygarr has like very little or almost no experience on. So these should be like strong potential points for Koolmees to take. In fact, the dynamic here for the random match is you absolutely want these bottom tier games. Because if you don't get these, then like which ones are you gonna get? Was able to see that the RC is in fact coming, or sorry, the burst is coming out during that RC. Koolmees, very strong round here. Only like a 10-ish seconds off the clock, and we're already working with an almost full life bar. I think that should reach here. The 5 heavy, extending forward, coming in with the Forever Elysian Triber. That 5 heavy for May is an amazing button, but after its active frames, loses its luster, as many of the moves of its kind. Switching sides, this is a big one. Deflect shield is missed but not punished here. Because if you're working with a very low experience Mei, it's gonna be hard to put those massive hit combos on the board. At least we can do Dolphin into RC. This is yeah. I love it. This is probably, even if you don't know anything about Mei combo theory, landing one big counter hit into S Dolphin, into RC button, another Dolphin, that's probably the best you can do, and something you can kind of just come up with on the spot through knowledge of the game. But now let's see Koolmees' pressure, able to find a 5D overhead through the wall. Maybe, no, misses the hit. It's actually Freygarr going in here, keeping the opponent contained in the corner, looking for one more hit, but getting frame trapped by that 2D. The killer Dolphin is gonna be completely missed. RC, the shockwave does reach, and that means there is gonna be a kill. Koolmees taking this one, as you definitely should. Shouldn't let the random player get away with these low tier randoms. Reap the benefit while you still can before we random into these tougher characters. Now Slayer here, next random for Freygarr, is gonna be a little bit more on the sort of mid of the tier list. And even if we say tier list, this really isn't a tier list at all. It's a power chart. I want to emphasize that. Has nothing to do with actual game balance. It's simply Freygar's own sort of vision of how their characters perform when they are piloted by man himself. Starting with the 2 heavy, sort of the public enemy #1, the MVP tool, the neutral playmaker of sorts from Slayer. Now can we get in again? Once you are in, Jacko definitely wants to spend like all the resources possible to get the vampire off of her. Leaving one goober behind that you could potentially fall up on. The tricky thing here for Slayer is that Slayer is extremely sort of ground-based character, specializing in horizontal mobility. And if there is a character who can sort of seal that horizontal mobility off, such as, you know, a lot of fireball characters, and Jacko like has a lot of different angles as well. Her goober throw doesn't necessarily go just straight horizontal trajectory. You can launch them up in the air. You can hold all sorts of angles with this character. But I mean, generally, like, when fireballs are concerned, Slayer does have to consider jumping here and there, and that will put Slayer airborne, a state that this character not really best at all. Ooh, the gold burst missed here. Both players trying to find a hit. Koolmees still rather healthy, but it is Slayer we're talking about, and one counter hit could potentially turn it all around. Dials into the pile bunker. No worries, we have the RC. Freygarr is staying surprisingly safe himself as well. Having some difficulties reaching Jacko at all. And that's how it goes. Koolmees getting a third one here. So dealing pretty well with the mid-tier characters that do get zoned out. Another Nightless coming your way here. Nagoryuki is gonna be the next random. Let's see, which tier does this character belong to? It is in the very basics tier, so would be slightly less powerful variation here compared to the previous one, per Freygar's self-evaluation. And also a character, so Nagoryuki kind of has sort of a little bit of the same problem as Slayer. Extremely horizontal in nature, although Nagoryuki does have some of the most dominating tools for quotation skipping the neutral as long as you have blood available. It does not come for free though. And sometimes even for Nagoryuki, it could be a little dangerous to interact with the incoming goober throw. Going the gold, the red one. Makes it so that your minion gauge basically can almost never run out because it recharges so fast. You have the same feature in the blue buff sorts, it's sort of, but much weaker version of it. DP hit is what starts the potential comeback here for Freygarr, but Koolmees not having any of that. Ooh, that too heavy. Both 5 heavy and 2 heavy, but especially the 2 heavy extremely minus on block. Through the wall we go, half of your life gone. One benefit for Freygarr is that the blood is still unspent. So if we get a chance here, such as trying to go for, what was that, a fight? 6k into a bite? Was that a kata bite even? Looked like a really long step forward. Reversal super here. It's not find its mark, unfortunately, and now Freygarr is out of all resources except the blood. We do have that. But a good Abara here for Koolmees is not gonna be enough, actually. Only level 1 blood, so decent defensive modifier here, but forced into a position where you kinda have to FD block for the whole rest of the round. Now, I bet Freygarr, at this point, praying for the RNGs to send some of the more powerful soldiers his way. Zato is next one. Ooh, I don't have a good feeling about this. Yeah, Zato, one of the most difficult to play, most technical characters in the game, belonging to the please note here at the bottom. Freygarr just having no luck whatsoever in the draws after the first one. Is it karmic justice that you would get your main character, your strongest character at the very first draw, and then not able to draw any good characters after that? But I mean, streaks like that can happen as well. And sort of the name of the game, what separates the strong random players from the weak ones. I mean, of course, strong random players do have, you know, a lot of knowledge of all of the cast. But of course, it is sort of a knowledge in itself to when you actually have to play a character you're not that confident with, you stick to sort of what you can do. And on characters like Zato, that might mean that you're never summoning the puppet, for instance, which has been sort of a running theme here for a lot of players who play random and do random into that Zato. Oh, we do have puppet play here, and a successful sequence at that. However, unfortunately, not able to follow through. It's a lot about sequencing on this character, and even if you do take the puppet out, can you actually sequence it safely? Going for a full charge 5D here. Freygarr says no, not gonna give you that positive bonus. Drops the combo, side switch, okay. Size of life here potentially. Working with the puppet, running out, but maybe that's not a huge deal. The 6k still hits because there was a huge gap between the hits, so the deflect shield completely ends up airballing, and now Koolmees potentially not having a lot of burst resources to use for the rest of at least this round. It would probably be a huge risk to try to even deflect shield here. It might try to make this comeback happen just raw. Looking for one more hit, does find it! So no mercy whatsoever. Koolmees finding yet another point, 5 in a row since that first game. What's it gonna be next? These are starting to be really, really crucial draws here. Baiken is the next one for Freygarr. And where can we find Baiken? It is in the basics tier. But maybe still a tier under, like, sort of what the average is. Although if we do sort of look at how the distribution of Freygar's characters work, I think there's slightly more characters in the sort of the basic territory than in the upper tiers. Oh, still getting the jump heavy hit here. But I mean, unfortunately, doesn't collide with Koolmees' buttons. Feeling a sandwich, the classic stuff, classic good stuff with Jacko. The kind of position where you would always love to be if possible. Tag game nonsense. Any 2xKO players in the chat? Freestyle pressure put into one character? Isn't this character broken? Freygarr says no, I get in Guilty Gear Strive and you're in a deep, deep trouble here. Little mothership character, and in fact, getting that round. Okay, signs of life for Freygarr for sure. Is exactly what the doctor ordered at this point of the match as well. 5-1. Starts being extremely important that we were able to put a couple more points in there. Jump slash, probably good for Freygarr, and then followed up with a big counter hit 6 heavy. The Tatami mat isn't gonna be good enough for the anti-air, and now here comes Koolmees. After this sequence, we are gonna have a deflect shield almost full burst as well. But most importantly, the reversal super and YRC is on the board here. The double jump into gun does connect with Koolmees, but so does this super here. I think I see 2 heavy, and there is no way to stop this. 1 round apiece. Burst advantage is on Freygar's side. We really have to lock in here. This is the air-to-air jump slash attempt here. Deflect shield does work out. Able to maintain the neutral situation for a little bit longer. Yes, there's no here. 2S hitting Koolmees out of the minion summon. Switching sides here. Oh, that was a little bit of a mistake here on the combo routing, but we are still rocking with the advantage. Cancel into Tatami mat. A little too short, a little bit too stubby, which seems to be the historical story with all the Biken players. Oh, here we go. Don't even need the tether mix-up because we have the power from the throw. Freygarr showing indeed signs of revitalization here, taking it with Biken. Of course, it's in a random matchup like this, it's kind of cool to random into some of those like standard characters that are not the hardest in the game to play. Speaking of which, Chip also not necessarily that difficult to play, although of course the player sort of bias here coming through, and of course we have Chip in the bottom tier once again. Freygarr, it's like, what is it, almost all of the bottom tier characters gone through already. 3 out of 5, 2 more left. Can Freygarr survive this? Alright, standard character, right? Run fast, press good buttons, such as the K buttons, such as the newly upgraded 2D, which absolutely hell crushes lows. Interesting question here is, how does Chip's new 2D actually interact with the demon neutral button from, yeah, that exact button, the 2D from Jacko? If we get the throw here, it looks like Freygarr might have actually been almost throwing the last airborne frame there for Koolmees. Striking with the fast movement speed, able to get, oh, with the far slash, getting a successful side switch as well. Freygarr with a lot of meter. Here we go, spend it. We kind of have to RC here, or don't, because we just knew that was a lot of fate on Freygar's side that the opponent couldn't get that punish. The gamble sort of pays off, sort of doesn't. Like, Freygarr didn't get that round, but was able to have that extra 50 meter in the tank to play with. Calculated risk, I want to say. Again, this close slash here, anti-airing Freygarr into the perfect direction. More than half of the life gone here for our ninja. Making sure that this interaction indeed does work for Koolmees, spending the meter here, or rather the RC. And there's the 2D, not quite the kill, but the throw is gonna seal the deal. And Koolmees Gonna move on to that 6 points, that ever so dangerous 6-point territory. Surely the RNG is gonna sort of even out now and we get the strong tier characters. Surely this RNG wheel would not cuck Freygarr completely. Surely we get something strong. Leo is the pick. Where is the man? Leo, in the mid tier. Not quite the strong tier, but a strong character overall in the sort of context of the metagame. Let's see what we can do with it though. If there is one thing that Leo can struggle with sometimes, it's a little bit on the mobility department. Has good buttons though, so let's see what we can do with that. And of course the step dash is, you know, the power of step dash always depends on like how fast it is, how fast can you cancel it, how much momentum does it sort of carry over. Of course the ultimate example would be Giovanna with a really strong step dash. And Leo can kind of do a lot of the same things that Gio, not necessarily as well though. Containing the corner, life situation is even. Oh, but that's a big momentum shift here. Able to first get out of the corner, but then put into the corner again. Very low on the minion gauge. We only have one reversal DPS version. RC to call out the deflect shield. Good block on the overhead. We are still in the back turn stance, which is very dangerous. Here we go. The neutral back turn heavy. Skipping a hop. I think that back turn heavy might be able to hop over that button exactly, the 2D. If you do manage to get this to the stance in the first place. Because it does make Leo sort of airborne at the start of the move. Let's see, can we get out of this goober pressure? Finds a hit, but not a clean one. No Okizeme afterwards. Freygarr forced to burst here. We need this. We absolutely need this. Freygarr does have a buffer here, so if you would lose this round... Oh, nice up out of there. The deflect shield putting Freygarr a little bit too far away for the... What's that move called? The guard crush. Blitzschlag? Blitzschlag or Sieges Parade, one of those. I think it's Blitzschlag in this game. Ah, got the throw. And still in it to win it. Surely now, after this one, it's only good rolls from here on out. Only 1 out of the 9 rolls has been a really good one. Really good hit for Freygarr. Surely now, Testament. Oh no. No way. I mean, it's not the bottom tier character, but it's definitely not a character that Freygarr wanted at this point. Testament Jacko though. So the cool thing about Testament here is that you can get a decently strong Testament with very little effort. The character is in itself like fairly easy to play. You can of course sort of argue about the efficacy and the like full power level of the character, but you can get pretty decently simple game plan going with Testament if you just have a good feeling for, you know, what angle your fireballs go. Mainly about the S Reaper. Of course you can use the Heavy Reaper for zoning purposes as well, or denying parts of the screen. Ooh, decided to throw another airball S version of the Reaper, which Koolmees did call out with that 2D. And now, working with the corner. Nice escape here. Testament has a lot of nifty tools. Like once you get airborne, you have a lot of good buttons and a lot of good air buttons to attack even from behind, from all possible angles. First one does go for Koolmees. Set point here. Can we survive? Freygarr has had to endure so many mid picks so far. Mid picks and bottom tier picks. That's a big counter hit 6 heavy. And able to, just with a couple of hits, extract a lot of value. Nice air throw. We have the Succubus marker in the air. Down as well. Doesn't go for an S-Reaper Oki, which is a very common thing. Oh, this was not with a Curse Pop, right? So you could technically jump out of that. But of course, it's a little bit of a knowledge check, like if you know that you can in fact act there and just completely avoid it. Okay, Freygarr gets it. There is still hope. Burst advantage. Ever so small, but it is there. Starting with the 2D was that. Interesting choice of buttons, but it ends up working out. I mean, it does make sense. 2K might be too short, and any heavier button might be like way too slow. So 2D might be perfect in terms of hitbox and startup to call out the 2D from Jacko. The Reaper is good. However, in the aftermath, getting hit really badly. Illusion Triber, this should break the wall as well, right? No, just puts Freygarr in the corner. Can we survive? Get me out of here. Get me out of Jacko's wild ride. Deflect Shield does, in fact, I'm not sure if that did anything there. Heavy Reaper does connect. But the downside of Heavy Reaper is that it's not gonna produce succubus markers on the ground, which is an integral part of Pedestament's gameplay. To the corner, YRC, lots of plus frames, jumps out of the fireball, however! Freygarr sees it and snipes it! That is the power of the zoning gameplay. You can throw the fireball, and if the opponent acts too slow, you get to respond, potentially true punishing them. And I think there was very little that Koolmees could have done in that situation after she chose to like commit to that air dash. All right, what we got next? This could be the last. Dizzy. Oh, snap. Still not a single character from the strong tier. We're apparently just locked onto this please no and basic tier characters. Wow. And Dizzy not even like, this is a weird mix. Like you do have to like have a little bit, I wouldn't even say little bit, a lot of knowledge in order to have like super strong game plan going on for Dizzy. I mean, it's not super hard to execute, but I do wonder though. I mean, it's not super hard to get maximum like massive damage out of Dizzy, especially working with something like the Ice Spike hits. But let's see how it's gonna go. The Ice Floor does get a little bit of an OTG hit here. Extra time for Freygarr. Still applied. It goes for both players though. Getting an OTG hit also for the opponent if they manage to land a hit on you while the Ice Floor is active. Does this reach? This actually reaches. One of the like not one of the best reversal supers in the game, but definitely boasts more range than your average reversal super, which does work in Freygarr's favor here. The combo dropping, so a lot of damage left on the board here, equalizing the life situation. Here comes Koolmees with the blue RC, guaranteeing more pressure. I was able to quite queue up the super here. Already sort of went for the minion slap. Calling out the wings. Very dangerous situation. Koolmees goes in with the low profile frame approach anti-air. Gets hit by the 5 heavy, no Gatling. Can always go into Michael's sword though. The air to air does work out. The OTG, the 2 heavy, missing in the aftermath. Please collide with this. Here come the chip damage. However, it's not quite the same potential as old games. I think in old games you would go through the whole what's that? Not Imperial Ray, Gamma Ray, the whole Gamma Ray sequence causing a lot of chip damage, but I think it doesn't quite work like that in Guilty Gear Strive. You only get all of the hits if the move connects. It would actually be kind of a cool change if you would have the former chip potential of the Ray. One more hit. Can we end it right here? Working in tandem, perfect unison with the minions. Koolmees is gonna seal the deal, but goddamn, did Freygarr work hard with those picks, considering we got almost none of the top end picks. We got the Potemkin, and then it was that. But still able to make it competitive, able to make it interesting. Only a 3-game difference there. Working with what we can. Sometimes it do be like that. Sometimes it do. But all you can do is work with what you have. In the world of a random character select. Alright, so now we're gonna circle back to the intended first matchup slot of the evening. This is gonna be Bunnix for the first time on Bounty Hunter, facing off against Detada's Unica. It's probably worth mentioning as well that this is probably our top seed of the evening kind of a matchup. So super high level gameplay coming in next. Okay, we have both the players in the lobby already. That is good. Here we go. Unica is an interesting match into a Ram because you are a very Shoto-like character. There is really no way of zoning Unica out, even though she is kind of slow and kind of clunky in certain aspects. She is still a fireball character. The same way you will never be able to zone Kai out, you can never be able to zone out Unica either. So the range advantage that Ram gets from her pokes is not necessarily that huge of a deal. It's not like the matchup instantly turns into Ram advantage because of that. So Unica has a lot of tricks up her sleeve. But Ram, always a strong character. Ooh, able to get the clean hit in the corner into lots of plus frames. A lot of Unica's pressure sort of revolves around able to sneak in Kara cancel blue guard crush beams if possible. So if the opponent is respecting too much, you can cancel pretty much anything into Kara cancel blue beam. Or usually it's gonna be your sort of the follow-up moves. Ooh, jump here, thinks better of it. That's gonna be very expensive investment for Bunnix. But an investment you sometimes do have to go for when you're trying to... Oh, well, that thought! We got a big round start 5 heavy, and we didn't even hype up the 5 heavy yet. One of the better buttons in Unica's kit. 10 frames of startup, works as an anti-air, great grounded poke, and also one of, if not the best starter for Unica in her kit. I guess Glow Slash is technically better because it prorates, or rather doesn't prorate at all. I forgot if 5 heavy prorates. I think it's probably like 90% proration move. But the initial damage is so much and the combo potential is so high! Bunnix baiting it out is gonna even out the rounds here. Showing how much damage, how dangerous Ram can be as long as you can put the opponent in the corner. Intercepting with a jump slash, however, didn't commit to a forward movement. With the Swords on the ground, we do have the super queued up Mortabado, break it! And a really nice feature here, the Swords are always coming back for Ram after a wall break of any kind. So even if you do throw both of them, if you manage to get the wall break, you do get your limited resource back throw. Gotta make this count. Didn't get quite the cleanest hit in the world, and the Mortabado 9-frame reversal super does end up interrupting the dash cancel. Let me flip this back to rematch lobby, because we managed to finish our random matchup, and we can now proceed with the normal intended schedule, and no coming back to lobby is required. unless we get one of those nasty spectator disconnects. Okay, Detada once again, 5 heavy. Why would you not press it? It's like many characters in this game just don't have a button faster at round start than that also reaches really far away. Like it's usually a privilege to have like a 9-framer, such as like Johnny, Milia, Baiken, that kind of characters, who can actually contend with Unica's 10-framer. I mean, you might have a 10-framer of your own, but if it doesn't match the destructive potential of Unica's 5-heavy, it might not be a good idea to swing with it, because trades can be really destructive especially if you make a mistake and like accidentally delay the button with 1 frame. Ooh, trying to anti-air with the 5-heavy, and again! It is sort of a dangerous button to whiff though, as are many of Unica's buttons. If there is one disadvantage for Unica as a Shoto character, I would say her normals have like above average recovery. So you do pay for your mistakes if you end up missing with her buttons. But to balance that out, her buttons are fairly far-reaching at that. Able to throw the second sword, trying to get an overhead. Not a punish though from the Unica side. Stalling for time, we got the throw and ready to throw more swords. Oh, and the sword explosion finishing the deal here. Bunnix with a lot of resources here. This could be a checkmate. The sword goes off. The explosion as well has to respect. And does get the kill here.
Duel 3. Let's rock.
5 heavy again. You can use the 2 heavy as an anti-air as well, which Detada has been using. Kind of both of those buttons, 2 heavy and 5 heavy, work as anti-airs, but from slightly different angles and with slightly different timings. 5 heavy is faster, whereas 2 heavy is a little more reliable with the hitbox reaching a bit higher. Switching out of the corner into our victory condition. This rock no longer giving you plus frames, but considering the spacing it leaves Ram at, it's not necessarily the end of the world, even if you do connect with it. And Detada getting another one in a row. Bunnix has been extremely close, though.
Mankind. Duel 1.
I could definitely see the... Oh, yeah, I think there is no reason for Detada to, like, stop using the 5 heavy anti-air, sorry, the 5 heavy round start if it ends up working out this well. Of course, the sort of the layer 1 response. Hello? From what angle are you hitting? That 2 heavy actually connected there. Or should we say that heavy 2 heavy follow up? But man, that was an interesting juggle combo. Still working out. Not able to avoid the massive hitbox of Detada here, and Bunnix with punish attempt a little late here, but even if you don't get a punish, at least get your turn is the sage wisdom that they often tell you. Yeah, this time Bunnix completely disengaging from the round start situation, and you can counter that. You can do the standard Guilty Gear Strive round start, which is micro walk back and then swing into it as a whip punish. Ooh, that's gonna be a punish. Working with one more sword, doesn't even have to use it. The Dower does have a lot of bounce in the modern version of Ramlethal. Finding a gap to DP through. Ooh, able to see the burst coming out, but the combo actually drops. And Bunnix smartly was churning the reversal super there. I mean, often enough might as well. If they drop their combo, it's not like... You have to be a certain kind of madman to purposely drop your combos and sort of drop the rewards. But of course, if you knew for sure that your opponent is churning it, you might, but like, it's not something players usually go for. And another successful game here. This one was decently convincingly in Detada's favor. Jump forward. Unica's jump. Oh, the back throw. Let's see what we can do with it. Cue up the 6 heavy stance into guard crush. Yeah, that's the right answer. Bunnix jumping over the over the first attempt to reset the pressure into the blue beam, and then read the burst as well. Tap it. No burst available for the opponent here, whereas Bunnix has all the juice in the world. Yeah, now even the tension gone from Detada. However, the sequence not tight enough, getting thrown for their troubles, and Detada will be able to build some meter here just in a moment. OTG 5 heavy is enough, and that is, in fact, her biggest damage OTG as well, so good choice here for Detada finishing the round. And the ability to see that was actually, 6p, definitely working as that far slash. Corner defense, using the air fireballs. Bunnix, oh, nice! We see the application of the 2 heavy here as well. There we go! I was talking about it. I think Detada could have finished the combo string, but chose to drop it in between to see if there, in fact, was a reversal super turn. The jump cave, unfortunately, whiffing here for Unica. And now having to take this corner pressure. One sword, ready to be thrown. Guard crush, misses with the 5 heavy. Sorry, 5D. And sending the red, I mean, okay, sending the red slide is okay if you still have tension in the tank, but on block, that move is basically a forward moving DP. So can always get a close slash from it. And the sword toss trading into the DP favorably for Bunnix. That was a really close round though. Could have almost been a double KO as well. With the Kara forward, overhead. Taking it this time, only taking the 6 heavy stance, but not pressing anything afterwards. It's a really interesting button. Oh, hold that done! We got a counter hit, 2 heavy anti-air. That could be really close to a kill. Arbalest, only a red version. The blue version could have been really close to a kill here, but you do have to spend a couple of frames in order to rev it up. It's the 6 heavy. Like, her 6 heavy is completely different from other characters in the game. It has no hitbox at all. It basically puts Unica in the Arbalest stance, which means any move performed afterwards, any special move performed afterwards is gonna be empowered with that blue lightning. And a lot of those blue moves are like way better than their red counterparts. So even though it does lock you in that animation for a little bit, you don't necessarily have to follow it up. You can just exit it immediately. Trying to fish with the 5 heavy. Good safe plays from Bunnix, just sending the sword here. Trying to bait for the burst as well. Detada. Would they burst here? This life disadvantage is really debilitating. Anti-air DP works out. The double jump. Ooh, and straight into the rock. And now, one more chance. Back throw into lots of plus frames. In fact, that was so plus. That was so god-awfully plus. Is that the adjective I can use? That was so plus that Detada went for the throw. But Bunnix was still in block stand and or throw, whatchamacallit, the throw protection frames. Ooh, nice cross up there. Wasn't quite able to combo out of it. One more sword toss. We find the hit. Ooh, it's a little dangerous now. We are still in the pressure position, but has to wait for the swords to come back. One acquired. Oh, but Detada getting a nice upper there just in the nick of time before Bunnix gets to use any of those return swords. Burst bait here from the side of Detada as well. Turning it up with the throws. Ooh, that was brave. 5 heavy against the guard crush. That's plus, how much? Plus, upwards of plus 10 frames, I think. A little bit of a drive-by. Complete reversal of the situation. The dive kick working against Bunnix, unfortunately. Putting him in the corner. No anti-air here. Just 2k 2D, checking what the opponent wants to do. DP, unfortunately, yeah, will not overcome the sword toss. And it's active frames. Misses the air throw. Uh-oh, this is dangerous. Plus frames here, going into guard crush again. The red overhead, not very plus, even on hit, is only plus 5 for Unica. Oh, the 5-8, can we get a whiff punish? Sword toss, the explosion does not hold Detada in the corner. Nice bait on the DP. Here we go, we can definitely get a wall break here and building that ever so crucial 50 meter for more Tobato. Here we go. I can't remember if Ramlethal can safe jump, but here comes Detada trying to steal the round again. Bunnix has everything. 100 burst, almost 100 meter. Sending this super we don't see very often. That was a nice idea, however, the slow air dash momentum cannot put Unica behind the super. Was still able to block it though. DP blocked from the airborne situation, however, can't get a punish. And surely this is in Bunnix's favor, right? Yeah, just barely. No double KOs here. Bunnix puts himself on the board. Oh boy, but that was so much work that you had to put in to get that. Getting into the guard crush. And then the red sledge. Sorry, the blue sledge. Blue sledge is always safe. Only -3 on block. Sending the sword. The explosion. Not sure about the frame situation here. I think it's probably plus for Ram still. Low slash counter hit. Burst so that we don't get to utilize the swords coming back immediately. Nice interception. Even though you can't get a full convert from that jumpy, the most important thing is to put the opponent safely into the corner so that you can utilize this sword throw pressure. Goes for the low. The opponent does block correctly. Burst. Good shimmy there. But Detada was combining that with an option select PRC. Definitely something that you should do if you do decide to go for that defensive throw. The overhead, only +5. Able to backdash out of the meaty. And a very, very delayed drift forward. Oh, the drift forward. RC after the minus slide. Kaista. Right, slowly we start seeing the signs of life from Bunnix here. With punish is a little late. But it's okay, we have the burst. Oh, try to go for the 5D. The opponent blocks correctly. Ooh, big counter hit. Here we go. We have the juice to break as well. Let's get the Mortobato. Last time, didn't want to go for a safe jump here. I'm not sure if she actually has a 9-frame safe jump, but it's also fairly okay as well to, like, even if you do have the safe jump, you might just dash in for, like, sort of higher risk, higher reward kind of a play. Again, attempting the whiff punish, not quite there. Missing with the drop kick, but also Detada was not quite in a position to punish it. Sending Galvados. A little bit of chip damage potential. I think Detada blocked all of that with Deflect Shield smartly. Because you are very low on life here. Burst from the Bunnix side as well. Got the punish. Oh, but the range of Unica's DP reaches so far. And it's, luckily for Bunnix, it is another successful, advantageous trade. Even though he was in the corner. Like if Detada still had life to spend, that would have been probably not in Bunnix's favor for the same purpose, for being in the corner. Ooh, counter hit. Down, just sending it. Forcing Detada to spend that burst very early here, trying to whiff punish. A little late. Ooh, but punishing that recovering 2k here was successful. And now the pressure with the Rekka. Not daring to press a button. The threat, of course, after the first Rekka is you could frame trap into the second one. There we go. We got the punish. A little one at that, but no worries. Just make it flow. Keep the pressure alive. And even if you miss your optimal punishes, it's fine. I know a lot of people struggle, especially with the Unica DP punishes, because it is a little bit of a weird DP to punish, right? It has a lot of reach, and it's a little unintuitive and hard to see what it looks like. And the kind of how you have to crouch under the first hit and then, or rather, crouch under the second hit and then dash in for the punish. The arc for that jump slash was perfect. Starting combo here. We could get the wall, which is what Bunnix tried to do, but Detada fighting out of the corner, sending the red sledge. We have the RC as well. Is it gonna be enough? It's, yeah, just barely.
Duel 3. Let's rock.
Starting patiently here. Ooh, dangerous whiff there on the drive-by jump in. Bar slash going active a little bit faster than Unica's equivalent here. Yeah, that's gonna be punish. Usually, how you want to deal with the flip kick, that's a nice instant air dash. Misses the combo though. So how you want to use flip kick on Ram? Like, you can use it for sure if you have tension to combine, but usually you kind of want to have like sword explosion or something like that to cover it, because it is very minus. So minus, in fact, that you usually get punished on block if you just send it. Rekka 1, Rekka 2, very minus, taking their turn. Detada spending meter as well. Nice, and despite not being plus much after the red overhead, catching the opponent, trying the backdash. Detada, 5-2. The red overhead from Unica, not necessarily the best tool, especially mid-screen, when your opponent gets pushed back a lot and you're only +5 for your knockdown. The double jump does land to the more preferred side. Bunnix also had the right idea there. Throw back and then throw from the air and then smack him with the 5 heavy, your longest range move. One more sword to use. Oh, brave back throw here. Bunnix is working with a big life advantage here, but never count out Detada with 100 meter, soon to be. If we can defend successfully. Sword tosses were protected against successfully, but there comes a point when the Ram player is also gonna commit into some sort of thing that you'll just have to hard read. Oh, able to slip to the other side here. Especially with Unica's like sort of a clunky weight class, if you want to call it that, and her jump arc allow her to do very interesting kind of jump-ins and especially like cross-ups. Holding the opponent in the corner, going into, going into the guard crush beam, but reversal super here working out for Bunnix. Oh wait, the sword toss explosion is still active there. I think the idea for Detada was to use jump D and then use the follow-up fireball in order to hold your air momentum long enough so that the explosion wouldn't get you on the landing, but alas. Speaking of explosions, faking the throw, going for the shimmy. 5D, those overheads have been blocked so well by Detada, I gotta say. Hasn't taken like almost any of them so far. Now here comes the honest Shoto strike throw gameplay. Overhead, not the best knockdown, but we're working with what we have. Sliding forward from the minus. In fact, the red sledge is so punishable that of course the opponent wants to press buttons, but when you time your drift forward RC like that, like Kai players do, it's tricky to deal with. And then the slide. The slice with that Michael Sword variant. Detada moving to 6 points here, starting to look a little grim for Bunnix.
Duel 1.
But again, the contents of the match have always been so even, so the potential for the games to go either way is decently huge. That's the right. Oh, no way! No way you DP that and it lands from behind and it bounces Bunnix back into the corner? Yo, Unica, are you good? Boom shakalaka! That was a dirty DP. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it bounced Bunnix in the right direction from Detada's point of view as well. Right, finding the low, not the biggest reward here, especially since Bunnix had already queued up the Rekka follow-up. Now 100 meter, what can we do with it? Start with the reversal super RC. Guaranteed to get out of the sticky situation, even though it is very expensive. RC here, both players are dry on resources. Now only honest gameplay here. Jumps out of the 5 heavy projectile, which is what you definitely should do. If you respect that and let Unica have the dash cancel, it's gonna be extremely plus for her. Set point, Detada still. Bunnix needs something strong here. But maybe even more importantly, way out of the corner, guard clutch, plus million. -3, tried to go for the drift forward RC again. But the opponent was very early there. Guard clutch, sorry, the wall break imminent, but this is has only equalized the life situation. Tried to go for a 5D tap there, completely missing the mark. One sword, one desire. Where is the other one coming back? Should be coming back soon-ish, but not soon enough, unfortunately. Detada reverses the situation. RC, that could be enough. Bunnix will have to think about the burst. Detada thought that burst would come, but it doesn't come. Here it is. Detada still with a burst of their own. The sword is stronger than... Can we get a punish? Yes, indeed. A DP punish. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Exactly what you need to have in this matchup. We've seen so many Unicas get away with that strange DP, not getting properly punished. And I mean, in this matchup as well, Bunnix hasn't had the close slash punish even once yet, I believe, to that DP. But, I mean, it doesn't matter that much as long as you do get something. You want to have something at least. That's a... Wow. I thought that blue DP there on airborne opponent might have actually picked up a combo, but not quite. Yeah, quite minus for that Michael sword. Opening in the corner again. Guard crush for a lot of frames. Dangerous strike throw. But to get that guard crush laser, you usually... Oh, that's... Wait, that could have been a punish, I think, with a K button. I forgot how minus that red overhead is, but it is quite minus. Taking the 6 heavy stance, going for a blue ledge, sliding under. Have to spend the RC here because the explosion wasn't quite there to cover for the flip kick. And now, tap the 5D, but it is to no avail. Detada has not taken a single 20-frame overhead this set. Absolutely vigilant. Countering close slash anti-air and the burst as well. This is looking good for Bunnix as long as we can keep it tight. 2 swords ready to go. 1 into second one. And now, where does the mix-up come from? Straight into the Freygarr. That's really good for Bunnix. Stalling for time is good. Shimmy, backdash. Throw has been baited. Burst full, but Bunnix once again. Whereas Detada only has around 40%. The guard crush Oki. Able to get a hit with that blue overhead. Usually, like, even with the blue overhead, to be able to combo, it has to have some sort of special investment there. You have to spend meter, it has to be a counter hit, or it has to be a perfect meter in order to be able to combo after it. Now Bunnix in a sticky situation, 50 tension. Chip kill is imminent, nice air throw, but we have to work through all of this life bar without getting hit, and unfortunately, the backdash RC just jamming, locking Bunnix in that slow recovery, even though that was a K button. Locking the time with that blue RC slows them for such a long time. I think around 50% more slowdown for their frame data. And able to get the single hit to seal the deal here. Detada on the Unica, able to take out Bunnix on his debut match on Bounty Hunters, and hopefully to see more, because we sure do see very little RAM nowadays, even though the character is still quite strong. Still one of those, I don't want to say special snowflake characters, but rather uncommon in the meta. especially in Europe at the moment. Good stuff. Next one would be Simppi versus Lemmen. Another debut match here. Lemmen Zato on the screen for the first time. And I believe Simppi has actually finally landed on a, let's see. Oh wait, was it Simppi? I'm trying to remember if Simppi has actually played, like Simppi has definitely played ABBA before on Bounty Hunters. But I think the latest match was Leo, right? Yeah, I was about to say that maybe this is like where Simppi has finally locked in on a character, because he's a player who loves to sort of hop between characters and probably still does. But okay, two characters that are sort of uncommon to see as a main character in the current meta. Zato, Abba, definitely characters that have tough matches in their spread.
So instead of reflecting on themselves,
As far as how this particular matchup goes, I'm not actually sure. With the new cyberpunk color as well on the Simppi side.
versus Zato.
Right, two characters that can deal quite a lot of punishment if they get into their conditionals. For Abba, the conditional is exactly this, going into your destructive mode, the double edge, the Moroha, the jealous rage, or whatever you want to call it. Puts Abba in a supercharged mode where all of her moves change into better ones. Her mix-up potential, her mobility, her damage, everything skyrockets. The caveat is that it's only a couple of seconds that you do get to spend in that mode. So you have to be really careful. Starting every round with only 5 seconds in that jealous rage gauge above her tension bar, which can be increased if you interact with the opponent successfully or make them block stuff like key grab, Rekkas, stuff like that. But now, speaking of conditions, we are in Lemmen's condition as well, and able to get the wall break just in time before the puppet expires. Refreshes it with the Sun Void. This is looking tough. YRC, get off me. Install, able to get it out. Okay. Potential comeback, however, good game sense here for Lemmen. Blocking the overhead, which does put Abba in a minus, is it -2 or minus, I think -3 nowadays? Or rather still, for that overhead in Jealous Rage mode. What was changed to be -2 in normal Abba mode? Back into the install. Ooh, and the air moves are so good in that one. I mean, all of her normals, all of her specials are just SS tier in this mode. But especially the air normals, they're just some of the most belligerent, all like hits everywhere around her, and have just if they're ever like, if I wanted to use the word priority, Abba in Jealous Rage mode is where I would sort of use it. Of course, I hate that word because it's like it's not how Guilty Gear's move interactions have ever worked. It's nothing but hitboxes. But the hitboxes are like absolutely great. So he is Keeper of the Key, but this is in normal mode, so Simppi won't be able to pick up pressure after that. No worries though. Intercepts Lemmen from the sky. Able to get the first game here.
Duel 1.
Starting with the flight. Yeah, whenever you're playing against Abba, you usually want to have your game plan to be a little bit too safe rather than too risky. Because it can be over with just one knockdown, or rather even just one hit for Abba. If she gets into the mode and you have nothing to counter that, if you don't have your burst, it's like, good luck, have fun. And even if you do have the burst, if you're putting Abba back to neutral with like 5+ seconds of jelly left to spend, you might just get nothing for that burst. 10 seconds of jelly though, here. So even if Lemmen has life advantage, I would still give Simppi a decent advantage here if he gets to interact. He does indeed get in. First fully pops. Now it's super important that Simppi can keep the distance at close range, because once you get pushed out with zero ability to go back into your mode, it's kind of the lose condition for this character in a way. As Simppi able to pull it through. Oh, nice cancel here into the drop kick. Gotta be careful here whenever that oppose is summoned. Don't want to swing into it if possible. But we can swing really wild when this time is active. Danzai into RC. Can we get a deactivation? Dispense everything, but I think Lemmen is not low enough, unfortunately. So this will force a pop on the side, or actually no, it won't pop. Oh, that's kind of cool. So you can kind of avoid the inevitable popping there by doing that. That's kind of cool. I've played this character and I never actually considered that's how it works. Instead of using the key grab to end your combo, maybe you end in the reversal super instead, which will technically spend all of your juice. At which point, if you have no juice whatsoever, it's like, nah, you don't really lose anything. But it prevents the pop from happening as well. It kind of transitions you out of the mode for free. Alright, we got the install and a far slash anti-air. Dirty. Disgusting. Who says I have to choose my anti-airs when all of them are so good? Nice activation here, around 8 seconds of my time. Ready to go. Plus, even after that downside, the problem for the downside is that it spends a lot of your gauge and it pushes the opponent really far away. Able to get an interrupt here. 2K2D. I mean, you might as well try to sort of high roll, because if you do get popped there in the corner, it's probably lights out. But now Lemmen's pressure with the puppet has been really good. Once again, a good unsummon here. Recharging all of that puppet juice. Good 6P as well, dropping the opponent in the corner, the shimmy. Forcing the burst, come out. Now has to survive 4 more seconds. Simppi spending everything, good block on the overhead, and the pop is imminent here. You can't do anything. Into, oh, but doesn't go for the close slash. The thing is, when you notice that the opponent is gonna, ooh, the infinite armor of the Danzai. Not allowing any, oh, I love that. Collides with the opposed armor and then produces a shockwave with the red RC, which did end up catching Lemmen there. It's gonna be a pop though. Let's see if we can convert this into some advantages. Good poke here on the Froggy. It's so hard to chase Sato though. With the jump B, drop them on the ground, and Lemmen secures the round. I was sweating there though. Good plays back and forth from both players. The Reka puts Simppi roughly at 7 seconds. But now being forced to block this pressure feels so bad. And the command grab spends so much time that you are forcefully be popped here at the end. And now with that zero juice, how does Sato optimally play this? Do you just like hang back, wait for your AD gauge to come back, and then do something like super safe to engage? What is gonna happen here, and Lemmen gets a safe jump in. Can't really do a lot in that popped state for Abba. It's not the same as Nagoriyuki's Blood Pop state, but it does force you into 10 frames of state where you can do nothing but block. With the Danzai, he's gonna force the pop here. Like we said, the Danzai, the only downside of Danzai. Oh no! The dropkick counter hit. You kinda. Did she have to burst there? So you can't really pick up a combo anymore after the dropkick counter hit, right? But I wonder if Lemmen was low enough so that the OTG would have killed as well. Maybe that was just a burst that had to happen in the end. These are the tough choices that you have to make in high pace. Guilty Gear game like Strive has taken the burst again and able to get the manual out of the mode. So saving a little bit of juice for the next place in the future potentially. Nice punish between the hits. There's a couple of ways you can punish this. Either punish immediately after the first hit, or wait for the whole sequence to expire and then go in for your big glow slash. Or command grab if you want that. Going for the whip punish a little late there. And there's not a whole lot you can get out of that counter hit drop kick. It is such a strong tool for skipping over a lot of even like high profile pokes like bar slashes from certain characters. But to balance it out, it only puts you in an RPS situation, sort of. I mean, getting a knockdown from that is valuable. It does allow you to go into mode, right? So it's not worthless, let's put it like that. Ooh, the gold burst and the pop. And no tension either. And the life disadvantage at that. Everything is going not Simppi's way here. Meanwhile, Lemmen has everything, but Simppi has been able to find a way in key grab into 5 seconds of power play. Good 6P, that's a game changer. Able to force the pop once again. I think anti-airs are some of the most important things that you have to have, like reaction anti-airs, especially when the mode is active for ABBA. Burst in the corner, yeah, makes sense. Secure the win. Don't let her have any sort of chance to play. Lemmen is on the board here. And not too late either. 3-1 is a fine comeback position still, without having to sweat too much. Able to sneak in the summon, but also Lemmen able to queue up the 6P perfectly. Ooh, okay, not getting punished here. 6P does work out, looking for the knockdown, looking for a chance to summon Eddie. Here we go, big combo, and unsummoning as well. The super is baited. Now one more hit. Basically anything should... Oh, or never mind. One hit is actually not gonna be enough because of the massive defensive modifier from ABBA and the fact that the wall was just about to completely break immediately. That's the kind of thing like high-level Guilty Gear Strive players will have to keep track of. Like, how much damage have you done to the wall? And like, is my next hit just gonna stick the opponent to the wall immediately? And if so, can I somehow do something about it so that you don't get the wall stick? Some characters can, some characters can't. 2 more seconds left here. Able to find the hit, but not able to uninstall in time. Will go into the forced animation, which ensures no refund on the jelly whatsoever. Finding the overhead and then into Damned Fang. Oh, RC before the strike actually goes through. Huh. Can you combo out of that? I'm gonna be honest, I've never seen Damned Fang RC before, so unsure what the potential of that move could be. And a good anti-air once again, yeah. Zato players, they do know the value of that button. The potential of Zato 6P has been reduced when they sort of homogenized 6Ps across the cast. So no longer the absolutely insane zero recovery that Zato once upon a time had on that move. Still a strong move though. really good move to poke out with, and combined with the fact that you don't have a lot of like super good moves to poke with as a solo Zato, it kind of balances how good that button actually is. But now the corner pressure working out for Lemmen really well. Unsummon and the Sun Void as well. And there is really not much you can do on Abba's side here on the hard knockdown wall break. Oh, good mash. Able to deter the pressure from Simppi. And now straight into the Zato pressure. There's a lot of unsummoning back and forth, making sure that the pressure continues way longer than what you can do with just one application of your full puppet bar. Alright, save the super. Yeah, big hitbox. Looks like Simppi already committed to the air dash. Potentially might have been in a like on a period where you can't really block at all. And this will lead into activation. Here we go. Shimmy. No bite on the hook for Lemmen, but still working with half the time still. This is dangerous. If Simppi gets any sort of hit here, that could be the hit. No, not quite. Reasoning into the 2K2D. Keeper of the key. We can uninstall here, but Simppi just goes in! No fear whatsoever! I think a safer play definitely would have been to uninstall and get another application of the mode, probably. But no, Simppi basically is like, I have half a second left. I can still do it. And it does end up paying off. With the rare successful jump in from a normal mode Abba straight into the meat grinder. If that's a throw, I think that's a throw. Yeah, immediately breaking with the keeper of the key. Hard knockdown. Oh, you can do so many nasty things here. Overhead is definitely one of them. And then one hit confirmed into the super. Alrighty then. Simppi secures another round. 2-game buffer has been preserved. English. Difficult language, huh? No, that too heavy definitely is a button as well. Abba has a lot of like interesting button that can accidentally anti-air. Usually you would like to go with your 2S, which has a massive vertical hitbox. Ooh, utilizing double command dash into a pop. Okay, interesting scenario here. Able to mash out with that 4-frame 2P. But we got good 2P on this side as well, even though it's 1 frame slower. Working with the normal mode combos. Good activation. 100 meter. What can we do with that? Stays really patient. Pop comes through. This could potentially be a checkmate. Popped up a state and all the resources in the world available for Lemmen. No, misses the far slash. And it's gonna be punished 2K from Simppi. Trying to go for the install, however, that's kind of like one of your primary reasons to maintain like some sort of like relatively close distance spacing. So if that the opponent tries to forcefully install, you can actually interrupt that. Or if you can't, you can actually you can at least get a punish. Good bait here on the burst. 100 meter on the side of Lemmen. So many good options available. Ooh, predicted that the super was gonna come. I guess working in tandem with the puppet allows your main body to not always have to commit to a strike, allowing you to, you know, see the burst, post flash, and determine, okay, I can block here. And I hear 5 heavy straight into the corner. Summon here. Overhead rings true. Well, we were able to get the unsummon here, which makes the puppet gauge white and recover extremely fast. And now Oh, now can Simppi actually get to the normal burst, the blue burst? It's so close, yet so far. We got it. So we at least have one Save Me card here, immediately used. Keeper of the Key, fall straight into the hitbox. I wonder if taking the hit there from Keeper of the Key was actually the way to go, instead of blocking it. Because it does build your risk gauge, and it puts you in a mix-up situation. Unsure, but nevertheless, Lemmen successfully survives that onslaught. Okay, with the drop kick. Jump D, actually one of the better jumping options that Abba can master in normal mode. A lot of her other buttons are very non-significant, but at least the jump D creates a little bit of like RPS for when the jumping is gonna go through. And you can do some really nasty stuff from pressure position if you do like a TK jump D into key grab kind of shenanigans. Ooh, a successful 6B. However, not setting up the Okizeme correctly. And Simppi takes the burst here as well. Okay, this is full jelly. We're gonna have to find a hit, which shouldn't be all too difficult with all of this timer. 2K2D, straight into the Keeper of the Key. I think that wall breaks, yeah, and that's gonna just straight up gonna be a kill. Bam! Simppi just not giving Lemmen an opportunity to come back into the game on an even footing. Maintaining that 2-game lead here. Ooh, that was interesting. Sending the Rekka here. First hit did whiff. Getting a successful on the second one. Hammering in the overhead. Target not home that time. Nice. Aiming to sort of target the landing frames there. Simppi with still decent amount of time left. Good 6P. Those 6Ps are so important, especially when the install is active. I think this time Lemmen should be low enough in order for this to deal, yeah, the necessary damage to get the kill. Ooh, that was dangerous. Within the air, sorry, within the key grab in the air does put you in a recovery state until landing. So Lemmen taking advantage of that. Yeah, we haven't seen Break the Law, or sorry, Invite help too much, the drills. But it is another way for Zato to sort of control the neutral, especially when normal Abba is concerned. 6B works out again as a... but the reversal super. Let's see the live situation here. Jerry says kill. And Simppi moves up to 6 points. Knocking on that door, whatever that door is, in the game-winning intro or outro sequence. What is that door, by the way? What is the lore here? Is that backyard? Yeah, minus on that dropkick nowadays. Or I mean, was minus before as well, but now instead of being -1, is -2. Wait, huh? Wait, how? Huh? Is it just a normal mode Keeper of the Key is so bad that it doesn't even lock the opponent down successfully? Is that why Lemmen was able to like bounce forward from it? I don't think I've ever seen that situation before, huh? Successful reversal super once again. This will spend all, but it does put Lemmen in the corner. Never mind, it breaks. Okay, it's all good then. The double command dash into pressure sequence, and normal mode Abba is surprisingly good at sticking to the opponent. Doesn't have a lot of mix-up capabilities, or like almost zero mix-up potential, but the ability to sort of reset your pressure into plus frames is pretty good. Oh, I just sensed the Rekka here. 1, 2, ban! I mean, to be honest, Simppi did have 50 tension there, so even if the Rekka is very punishable on block, I can kind of send it an RC to force a little bit of jelly build-up and then potentially catching the opponent, because the second hit is a low, I think, even if it looks like an overhead. Uninstall and a close slash. Very nice situation here for Simppi. Set point, drops the combo. It's no worries. We're working with our ultimate form. Peak performance. This is in fact what a female peak performance looks like. Absolutely maddened, crazy, and swinging some sort of homunculus key. Simppi takes it home 7-3 against Lemmen. But good back and forth there. It was only at the very end of the set that Simppi was able to get like a lot of wind under his sails. After the 5th point, it was like snap, snap, and then we're suddenly at the 7-point mark. And moving on, we got 2 more games left. Decently high-level matches as well. Oh yeah, I was supposed to message a GPP. Okay, that is done. And now LagBoy as well. Looked like that was there might have been a little bit of confusion how our Bounty Hunters event works here. So as a reminder, we always proceed in sort of in the order of the main poster. So we're currently at the game number 5. All games are of course always played on stream. This is not quite your double elimination bracket event. This is a show match event where everybody gets to play and everybody's game is going to be streamed from beginning to the end. So Geo versus Baiken. High-level Geo play is always like really beautiful to watch. He's a character that is decently high commit. Like there really is no like guaranteed way for Giovanna to cheat herself in with anything. That said, you do have a lot of good tools for closing the distance, despite your buttons being like relatively stubby. One of the more mobile characters in the game, and I think it's the mobility part that makes characters like Giovanna a little harder to play. Kind of why like Elfolt is a little difficult of a character to play as well, because you don't like you seem to have like really good range on your buttons, but they're just not as good as many other similar characters. You have to work with your mobility instead. Same is true with, of course, like the speedster characters. And even though Giovanna is probably like, you shouldn't necessarily like classify her as a speed character, she is still extremely fast for what she is. So it kind of what should we call it? It's sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Reveals your ability to utilize certain kind of fighting game fundamentals. Exposes, that's the word I was looking for. Expose is a very visceral kind of word that you could sometimes use for characters like this that require mobility. Because of course everybody knows how to press good buttons. Like there is definitely a theory behind pressing good buttons and when to press good buttons and when to not press good buttons. If you have like super far-reaching buttons with a lot of active frames, yeah, a lot of people love pressing those, and those are like on layer 1 really strong things to just put out there. But with punishing people, utilizing your mobility, that's kind of like that's where the juice is a lot of the time. Right, we have the GPP on the way as well. I mean, of course, Biking kind of suffers from sort of the same kind of issues. She's a more standard character in the way that she has a normal dash, has kind of stubby buttons. Maybe a bit more reach for Biken than for Giovanna, although like Gio's button range is very strange to evaluate because you always have to consider how much extra range she gets from her step dash. So you could kind of view step dash into a button, a way to extend that button's range for the exchange of like increasing the startup of the move by the amount that you're gonna dash. So like if you want a lot of range for your move, it's gonna extend the startup of the move as much as like you wanna let your dash rock. Of course, you can always do like 1 frame micro dash into a button straight away, which increases the startup of your button only so much. But then to balance that, you're also not gonna get as much momentum moving forward. But that said, like Gio still gets like a lot of forward moving momentum by just doing like a shortest possible micro step into 5k, for instance, which is one of the reasons why that exact sequence is very common among like Giovanna players. Step dash, fast step dash into 5k. That stuff is pretty good. Both these characters are pretty good at close range, but they work a little different. Like Biken, before she gets the knockdown, she's trying to, I guess like the things that Biken is usually looking for is the TK Yosensen, the instant overhead, but that's usually only a factor when you have meter. Other than that, you're attempting to refresh your Ice-Kabob, which requires your opponent to be sleeping, but does give you frame advantage and does give you that massive reward advantage for landing any hit afterwards. And then of course you got your throw, which just straight up sets up your best Okizeme situations, layers upon layers. But then when Giovanna gets in, it's a very like stick to you kind of strike throw kind of a pressure situation. With the twist that Giovanna is one of those characters who have a +3 on block close slash, so if you do manage to get there once, you can stick there, like you can stay there a little bit longer than some of the other standard strike throw characters. Like LagBoy with early wall break here and a positive bonus and a very nice interception from the air. The air-to-air jump slash, one of the holy grails of bike and rewards. On the ground, her buttons are often like very uninteresting and very hard to combo into, but boy, when you get that jump slash in the air, usually leads into some pretty good stuff, especially if it's a counter hit. Alright, queues up a 6P here. 6P is an important tool against bike and grounded pressure because you can always go under the Ice-Kabob, even on reaction. Ooh, that might have been a misinput on the TK Yosenzen, which at worst turns into a TK jump slash that you're just gonna RC anyway and be in the air at a disadvantageous air to ground situation. Here comes GPP and finds the up dog. One of the more common tools that you're gonna be working with in your, oh my god, the active frames of the far slash. 3 hits, lots of active frames, and it's really easy to accidentally anti-air or just overall hit the opponent that is trying to advance on you with that far slash. Very strange one as that. Very unique for Giovanna. A really big combo here. Does this connect? No, it's a little bit too far, and it's gonna be a punish. GPP might be able to baits out the reversal parry here during the sequence. Lots of meter here. Nice mash here on the Shavi. That's another way how you can put a little bit of like extra startup on your moves if you want to empower them. The Shavi into special move does produce really powerful special moves for Giovanna, but also you do have to go for the full startup of Shavi. Ooh, tried to go for a red parry, but I think a little too early. You saw the red flash there, which was followed up by a big counter hit sign. GPP taking the first one. Was able to attach the Kabari, but then in the follow-up situation, GPP actually able to get a throw in. That's big. When you can nullify that attached Ice-Kabob without, you know, taking any damage in the aftermath, you can pat yourself in the back and say, I survived. I'm a survivor of the Ice-Kabob. Right, wall break, not quite the 50 tension that LagBoy was hoping for. Ooh, the opponent is backdashing during RC slowdown, and LagBoy recognizes that lovely, juicy, tasty situation that you can get there with close slash. Here we go. That Kabari into a throw, and we can combo here. Oh, chooses to actually not go for the combo, but instead for the set play, switching sides, super through the wall. Not quite the kill here yet. We're looking for one more hit. Yeah, plus frames into just 5P jab. Lands us a hit, and LagBoy on the board as well. There's a lot of potential for these rounds to be super fast because these are fast playing characters. Once they do get in, interesting characters because they have potential both to be played very slowly. Like Baiken has always been an extremely defensive character, like jumping back with jump slash or jumping backwards with, you know, tatamis. You can definitely stall and play Baiken like that. But then of course, because of the hyper mobility of Giovanna, she can also stay outside of the opponent's reach for a very long time, or at least as long as, you know, Guilty Gear games allow you to. There is, of course, the negative penalty, the ever-looming threat of not being aggressive in a Guilty Gear game. Oh, that's dangerous. Missing the throw here. Went for a parry as well, prompting an immediate counter hit. Can we switch sides again? Maybe it's not required because we get a counter hit, and now still not quite enough to finish the round here, but going into the full 100 tension install that gets activated automatically when you build enough meter, and then unleashing the super powerful reversal super powerful reversal super. Nice vocabulary there. I'm missing with the up dog. And using the burst. LagBoy also counter burst so that they don't get contained in the corner. Super is available. And this will reduce LagBoy's health quite a bit. Reversal super available on the side of LagBoy as well. Trying to be sneaky and potentially bait it out. That was a really delayed option. It's kind of the way how you generally tend to bait reversal supers, reversal parries, and like reversals of all kinds. Just delaying your pressure enough so that those moves have time to start up and or to come out. So you get to either block them or get to punish them on recovery, which is the case with Bike and parry here. All right, GPP in the lead once again, but only by so much. And 2S, the classic defensive poking tool for Baiken. Definitely lacks in range. Oh, tries to go for the red parry again, but the timings haven't been quite there. And it's tough against Giovanna because she has windows to delay her special cancels quite a bit, and her Gatling strings as well. So like even if you have practiced like the layer 1 immediate cancel red parries, she might just like delay just for a couple of frames and catch you with a counter hit instead. Going to the mix-up. Low hit. Should be a kill. Oh, unless... YRC. Can we still get to play? The tether unattaches. So we're no longer held together. The battle of 5 Ps. It's in fact LagBoy who gets to press that in the end. Bike is one of those characters who does actually have her 5-framer in the 5P instead of a 2P. I think her 2P is a 6-framer, right? Big guard crush. In fact, that was not even a guard crush. Just powering through the guard altogether. AKA was not blocked. GPP with a lot of resources here. Defensive modifier kicks in. Oh, but the mix is coming through. The empty low does not work this time, but the frame trap afterward does. So LagBoy immediately runs it back. With the heavy cabarets, attempting a wave punish again, the red parry. The timing just doesn't work out, unfortunately. But speaking of timings that don't work out, the burst timing here for GPP doubles it up into a TKO's an immediate wall break. Unfortunate, or I guess that's a good thing because like LagBoy didn't use meter for that Yozen, right? Another big counter hit here. Ooh, meeting in the air. Rare footage of other characters getting there before Baiken's jump slash. I mean, strictly speaking, the jump slash like is a rather slow. Ooh, good timing on the burst. So completely deny the super here and the wall break as well. But now the grim reality sets in, and GPP will have to work through this whole life bar without making a single mistake of sorts. Was that a bait? Did GPP press a button? No! That's a clean punish. Had to FD there for safety in order to like not get KO'd by chip damage as well. The wall break, it's okay. LagBoy has been forced to spend the burst. The angle is not good! The down wolf, the down dog, the super hop kick or the super drop kick does not connect with the opponent, meaning it's yeah, it's dangerous in those kind of situations. Plus and block usually, but oh boy, if you completely airball with it. Yeah, tries to go for the red parry again. Hasn't been working out almost at all. Certainly something that LagBoy has probably practiced because it's coming out so much, but just hasn't been able to find the timing successfully. Nice neutral jump into a big side switch. Ooh, the last DP ends up whipping. That would have potentially been a kill. Now the run back from LagBoy, waits for the super never comes, the delayed throw also missed because GPP was walking back, and that's gonna be the nail in the coffin. Ooh, starting with a round start DP for Geo. It is, strictly speaking, kind of like a 6P plus in a way. Massive hitbox. But I think the upper body in will start a little bit slower for it. And of course you have to input it with a special command, so it's a little harder, or rather slower to come out in that regard as well. Let's see, LagBoy has to be careful here. If they get touched even once, one touch into super could end the round immediately, and the game as well. The burst has to happen. Does get it. Oh, and the active frames, look at those. Look at those active frames. The instant air dash collides straight into the bar slash. I wonder if you put out a jump slash there, can that ever beat the active bar slash? Because the bar slash is rather high reaching hitbox as well. Especially on the last hit. Like if you whiff the first and the second hit, the third hit hits like, if memory serves correctly, rather high up into the air. Backdash, however, doesn't get out of the corner for free. LagBoy intercept with the big counter hit jump slash into good night. We go, able to intercept the step kick into pressure. That's, yeah, the axe kick very minus there. Allowing LagBoy to momentarily start pressure, and here we go. TKO's an unfortunate misinput again. My favorite, super jump slash into RC. Oh, the misery. TKO's and always wants to be my enemy. Oh, cut him with a close slash. That's a big starter, and LagBoy has nothing to say about that. Other than, I guess, other than hoping that the opponent drops their combo, which, you know, is a thing, is an actual thing that happens in fighting games. Believe it or not, on all skill levels at that. Oh, nice escape from the corner. A little bit of a knock on the door. Tether is still attached. Ice-Kabob does produce plus frames as well for Baiken. Oh, I wonder if the tether actually screwed up the combo here, because it does change your physics a little bit here and there. GPP, one game lead again here. But the players here have proceeded in this set, side by side pretty much, all the way through. And no reason to expect that maybe it's any different here. Start with a throw, start with a mix-up. Yozan is instant blocked. I wonder if that changes the situation. It should still be plus for Bike again, right? But of course, when you end up in the opponent's throw range, speaking of throws though, YRC out of the corner, into attach Kabari, into jump slash counter hit. Can't quite confirm that, but at least we got out of the corner. That's always a small win in itself, if nothing else. Moving so fast with the step kicks. This time stopped with the far slash of the fastest kind. 9 frames of pure and unadulterated fast hitbox goodness. Reversal super out of there. Not gonna finish. Oh, never mind. Does finish with the 100-meter investment for GPP. That's a good counter hit, yeah? Decent amount of damage, put the opponent in the corner, get that throw, and now it's mix-up time. I mean, if you throw towards the corner, you kinda are missing the left-right options. But it's still a decently good situation for Baiken, I reckon. Ooh, trying to shimmy. LagBoy not biting that time. Ooh, the little micro delay. Did you see that? The 5 heavy does manage to find the hit. LagBoy has been a little bit more conservative here with the red parries since they haven't been working out that much. And for the first time in the set, GPP builds a little bit of an extra buffer here. 2 games. Ooh, that is big. As they're also nearing the championship rounds here. Big guard crush, lots of plus frames. Oh, that was an interesting IB in the air. First towards the corner as well. However, GPP explodes out of the corner. 75 in the tank. What can we do with that? Soon to be. Oh, I think this is not 100. So you. Oh, never mind. That actually lances a hit. I was a little bit scared because GPP was like literally 1 or 2 meters away from 100 and being able to RC that super if it lands on block. Catching the Ice-Kabob as the Oki again sees the wire C because the RC of his own. Still not able to close it out. GPP very strong here. This is an extremely important game for LagBoy. Huge difference between being 5-4 and 6-3. Huh. Difficult map here on Bounty Hunters. With the throw guard crush as well and able to combo out of it. Was just one move away from building that 50 tension. So LagBoy still with a chance here with a drive by Yozan. Landing big damage. GPP would get a burst here if they go through the wall. Oh, LagBoy did commit into, I think that was probably a TK Yozan attempt. Empty jump. No reaction from either player. Would we burst here? The answer is yes. We have 50 meter after all. RC into another. Oh my god. No punish here on the DP. I can't even remember if it's punishable. It's actually LagBoy who ends up still stealing it. It was great decision making there for GPP. Not taking the small reward out of the air throw that they might have been able to get, but step dash to the other side, trying to mix the opponent up and close slashing as a cross up. Alright, looking good for LagBoy. Positive bonus and soon to be 100 meter. Lots of stuff you can do with that. For example, the gun. OTG hit there. Can't combo. Whose advantage is this? Oh, okay. Okay, with the far slash. LagBoy does end up getting the ever so important game. We are once again in a nail biter where anything could happen. Let's combo into the blue wild assault. If that hits, great, you can combo. If not, you can set up your Ice-Kabob pretty much uninterrupted, I believe. Taking the burst here as well. Time to mix. Yeah, that time the back against the corner was not what happened for Giovanna. There was a little crevice there that you could use to mix up if you wanted to go for those left track shenanigans. The reversal super does work out for GPP, but the comeback is still 1 hit away potentially, or maybe 2 because LagBoy is working with that blue burst. And it's just a well-placed 2P there. The whole world is yours to take with a small jab. Ooh, that's a very specialized round start options. GPP starting with the round start DP, whereas LagBoy went for the heavy Kabari, which does not extend your hitbox into it. Into the DP, that is. Alright, YRC is the defensive option. I think didn't commit into anything, and in fact will be able to get the post-flash parry. That they're still making things a little uncomfortable here, potentially for the player who's not as, you know, as accustomed to playing with that sort of modification, aka the Giovanna player. Nice instant air dash. Wasn't able to combo out of it though. Can't maintain the corner either. YRC against that close slash. Yeah, get me out of this strike throw situation. Up dog is backdashed. Out of all things. Wait, is it? I guess it doesn't have enough. I guess it does lack in those active frames. Take the approach and into the 2D. Working as an anti-air of sorts here. Very nice. Bobbing and weaving. Inviting the opponent in from an advantageous angle. But speaking of advantages here, the sneaky cross up into a Yozan. Resumes his corner pressure and then the super ends it. Soon to be potentially renewed into more corner pressure, as there is no reversal available for GPP, no meter in the tank. Oh, I think I see far slash here. No, never mind. Well, maybe was able to FD cancel it on the startup frames. Ah, skipping a hop to that 6 heavy and missing it. So now LagBoy. Is it just me, or are LagBoy's games always this close? Block on the overhead and then switching sides, counter hit, but maybe waiting for the burst, which GPP was just not quite ready to unleash yet. It's usually pretty decent value waiting for at least the first combo, or seeing if your opponent wants to drop their first combo of the round. With a neutral jump, trying to intercept. I wonder if that was an air throw attempt or a genuine jump D. Nevertheless, the jump D angle was looking pretty good as well. You would probably have to get that jump D counter hit towards the corner to be able to get anything relevant out of it though. Here comes the super. Finishes the round once again in a small, tiny little leading position here. Leading by only 1 round, GPP is. The trade on the pressure diffuses the situation back to neutral, but then more bike and pressure. With the far slash, and here comes the air approach with the jump slash. Trying to fish for the hit, but GPP putting themselves in a really nice grounded position. Anti-airing, and now 100 meter as well. YRC is where it goes. The mode stays on for a couple of frames afterwards. Here comes the mix-up, left or right. Pick your choice. Same side this time. Into a throw as well. It's kind of like there are so many layers from Viken that if you're just expecting the layer 1, which probably is the left right in mid screen, you might expect it too much and then get just reset into another throw. Speaking of those throws, time to guess. Oh my god, that went through the opponent. It's so impossible to see. 100 meter in the tank, and we get a conversion here. Misses the Q2K hit confirm as well, but no worries. We have this pressure thing going on, and the opponent has no resources whatsoever to get an easy combo break or an easy string breaker. GPP needs only 1 more game on their debut match on Bounty Hunters to take it home over one of our regular Viken players, back LagBoy. Ooh, I wonder if that Yozan was meant to miss there. Maybe it was set up for a throw. Red parry, not punished this time. To the other side. Yeah, thinks better of it in case GPP was 6Ping to the right direction. Could have potentially been dangerous. So spent the meter and be super safe. Out of the corner with the air dash Yozan. And now, potentially 1 interaction away. That's a good interaction. Builds the 50 as well. The wall break should be guaranteed here. Yes, indeed. Set point, GPP. Can LagBoy still even it out somehow? and make it super interesting with a couple of far slashes and then into an engagement. Oh, that was actually a punish. Jumping together, aligning yourself with the axe kick, which I think is more deep rather than horizontal oriented in the air. Mix up, land into TK Yours, an instant overhead. Looking potentially good so far. Howdy Raiders from Badur stream. We're in our second last matchup of the evening here. LagBoy has to take this round here to survive, to find the fight on the last game. GPP is building a lot of those resources though. Stick to the wall. Nice. Aborts the 6 heavy sequence in time to drop down and get the super there. And I think that's gonna be it. No way out for LagBoy. GPP does take it. The DPU match successful. Giovanna gameplay displayed for the whole world to see. Very nice stuff there. Very fast-paced match as well, back and forth. Played with the mobility that we were talking about before the start of the set. The mobility has to be there for both of these players. Because you definitely can't play with your stubby little buttons. Alright, one more to go. And that one more would be Gusto versus HiWill. Will rocking that good old Bedman. Oh, there's also an Afro on Bedman there on the player card. Bless Alternate for the best mug shots. Cool little flavor there. Wait. Yo, wait, huh? Delilah has an afro as well? Really? I didn't actually know that. So does that gets applied if Faust does command grab on Bedman? That is such cool flavor. I didn't. Oh, that's what the people were talking about on the server side earlier. Yo, I didn't even notice. That is a cool little detail. 2 haircuts for the price of 1, exactly. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. I would usually rate Will, or like if this was in the past, I would probably rate Will the favorite to win this one. However, the numbers that I've been able to collect, my data says otherwise. My data says that this might actually be a pretty even show-up between Gusto and HiWill. But I mean, the numbers can always lie, and a lot of things can happen between basically any match of fighting games. Pick a fighting game, any game. And rarely are matches set in stone. Regardless of the matchup, regardless of the player matchup, regardless of anything, and especially in Guilty Gear Strive, that is sort of perfectly engineered to, what's the word that we want to use here? Guilty Gear Strive is like a fighting game that has been specifically engineered to sort of thin out the skill gaps between players who have, skill level differences, which does make the competition a little more relevant sometimes for spectators as well as the players, when it's not always guaranteed the stronger perceived player is gonna win it 100% of the time, because there's a lot of flashy things that can happen really fast in in Guilty Gear Strive. And even if you are, you know, objectively, fundamentally perceived as the weaker player, it's never that simple. A lot of upsets can and will happen. Will happen. That's a master pun right there. All right, Gusto, Will, two characters that we usually don't name if you're trying to consider the characters who are at the very top of the meta landscape. Faust and Batman. And that kind of creates interesting dynamics between like characters that don't get played very often. When you have two characters like that, it can create like matchups that you just don't see very often in the first place. Although we have to say that Faust, considering where Faust has been sitting power level wise throughout the history of Guilty Gear Strive, has been a fairly popular character, I have to say. Like, people genuinely like playing this character and want to make this character work. I mean, of course, sometimes that causes, you know, frustration and like people when they really commit to the character and just can't make him work like they want to. It can lead to some frustration, but you know, it's a very different kind of character. Like, both these characters are very different kinds of fighting game characters. Very wacky, very unorthodox, fighting with extremely unique mechanics. Faust, of course, the item throw mechanic, a little bit of RNG that you can put in your fighting games. And then Bedman with the unique, the Magneto-style eight-way dash movement that you can initiate from your air float. And then, of course, the error gameplay as well that produces like automatic hits for you. And speaking of those, activates the bomb head here. I got the 50 meter as well. This is gonna be super. No, never mind. Not close at all. Of course, because Faust is a zero guts character, meaning he just takes straight up maximum damage no matter when you hit it. Start of the round, okay. End of the round, still does the same damage, which causes his EHP to be like considerably lower in certain situations than most other characters. Oh, that's gonna be a punish. Oh no, never mind. Not -7, or maybe missed the perfect timing there on Will's side. Yeah, here's how the item mechanics can sometimes fail you. Some of the time you will throw a dud. Some of the time you will throw an item that just does nothing or could just potentially help your opponent. Gargosh here. Ooh, Will was waiting for it though, and now big slam down from those malfunctions. Malfunction is kind of like the big special move that you want to try to work with as much as possible. When you can land it on block, like it's a good combo starter, but when you land it on hit, it's gonna be plus. You can make it even more plus by charging it, and the error you get from it is probably one of the better ones, if not the best one. The bomb head, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, that was an interesting way of using the air mobility there. Bouncing or like pouncing, launching yourself over the... Yeah, there you can see the Afro and Delilah. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yo. And she's part of the animation as well. Damn, the little details that you learn to love that you've never seen before. Coming down with the jump D. Yep, the ultimate certified. Try to time your anti-air against this cracked ass move. Has worked and has been a nuisance since the beginning of time for Guilty Gear. Ooh, missing with the Wild Salt. No worries, the opponent is still contained in the corner, and the trade on the anti-airs are usually in Faust players' favor. Leading into decently big punishment here, considering Bedman is a is quotations a big body character and has some amount of... Or does he still have any extra modifier? Little Faust working in your favor. The spike comes from a right angle, aborting the jump pike of Gusto. To the other side, yeah, jump D again. Waits long enough for it to go to the right side, teleport into close slash, big damage, Gusto. As fast as Will was able to get the first game. I think this was a pretty convincing comeback here for Gusto as well.
Mankind knew that they cannot change. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Right, utilizing the... Oh, that's gonna... it kind of depends on the angle and how you hit the mix. Sometimes it can be safe, but more often than not, it's kind of not. Utilizing the White Wild Assault to go through Gusto's buttons, mixing it up with a jump D from the backside of the action. YRC to nullify the error that was kind of inbound there, forcing the arrow to... that's one way to force the arrow to spawn as well. Use a very unsafe on block kind of a special move such as the Beyblade or the spin RC, and then that starts the timer for the explosions error. Wait, what happened to the error there? Wait, did the bombs just disappear? Okay, weird stuff. Oh, that's a big starter. We're definitely going through the wall with that. Unless Will specifically wants to maintain the corner. This is actually kind of great. Because the next hit combined with the super would have probably taken Gusto's life. 100 meter for both players. Doing what the Faust players definitely love to do at the end of the rounds. While they have... careful with the bomb! Has the RC, still gets hit there! Doesn't recover in time. Misses with the combo. Burst is good for Gusto. But I think Bedman is usually favor in this situation, because you can throw... Like, going through those spikes, those needle zoning is like kinda tricky, and you're sometimes you're oftentimes expecting to take a little bit of time as you're working towards the Bedman player.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh, I love that. Registers that Gusto was very high up in the air, so walk forward, trying to walk into a position where the anti-air becomes feasible. Oh, trying to poke into the bomb head. Burst out of it, we get the corner. They should be, oh, not quite. Unblockables, maybe, of the sorts. Yeah, this time it's gonna be a punish. I think Gusto was banking on getting that 50 tension there before the mix last hit finished. But just barely didn't get there in time. Now the teleport. Good dodge there by HiWill. That is a decently large RPS win. Because that tension build penalty is pretty steep, and wow! What was that against the jump in of Will's, just charging up that 5D like this was Guilty Gear Striver XX. Where, by the way, that move had some invulnerabilities. Huh. Oh, and the calm and collected bait here. Walks forward, waits, punches, and then waits again. Big hit with that vacuuming jump slash. One of the biggest party starters for Bedman as well. Ooh, nice, and combos from the follow-up lightning strike. That's kind of cool. Plus frames, forcing the error to come out immediately. Gusto has to spend an RC on that, or YRC rather. But still finds the hit. Well, with the ever so strong Bedman play, able to take an early lead here in this FT7, the last one of the evening. Let's see if Gusto has something to say about that. It's really important, like, for both of these characters to get their game plan started. What Bedman wants is some amount of error the lightning strike error can help you with neutral as well, like this, when you just send a single spike, then wait for a couple of seconds, and wait. Ooh, the bomb! The bomb! Combos into the bombo! Too bad the gravity scaling is rather large in Guilty Gear Strive for Faust items, so won't be able to get anything significant out of that. But it's always cool when you get a little bit of extra. And I mean, the hit that Will was working with probably wouldn't have led into like a heart knockdown or knockdown of any sort that you could utilize to begin with. So going for the bombo, of course, very optimal. Ah, little guy holding down the fourth. Helping Gusto to go into a teleport, guard crush galore into a hard knockdown wall break. Gusto is working with a lot of resources here, 50 tension and full burst. Goes for the YRC first, and because that was blocked airborne, it is gonna bounce Will kind of far back. Error inbound, lots of explosions. Good guys, bad guys, and explosions. As far as the bed can dish. Okay, the sort of need to break this momentum starting to slowly become extremely relevant. We need to do something if we still want to stay in it to win it. Great snipe there with the jump heavy. Faust traditionally has such a far-reaching 5 heavy that, sorry, jump heavy that is like even more comfortable to utilize in this game. In the previous game, you would always have to like FDC to stay low enough, but you can do it like reasonably low in Guilty Gear Strive, just raw. Will approaches with the arrow nonetheless, gets jabbed. That was a big win on the jab. And the Horde of Mini Fausts working as a free combo breaker. Trade. Gusto has to be really careful here. Faust is a character that loves to usually trade, but the trade is now no longer an option with this amount of health left. Gets a cross up from the blue Wild Assault. Mix up. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that one before, but that was exactly what the doctor ordered for Gusto to be able to steal that round back. Able to get the hit, combo into the bomb. Soft knockdown, but the damage has been done, and now Gusto will potentially have to try to make the same comeback. Yeah, it's not gonna happen this time around, and woe upon Gusto for spending the burst there as well. Now has to go into the last round without any burst resources whatsoever. Once again, waiting for the timing. Yeah, this kind of gameplay loop is what HiWill has been trying to concentrate on. Spend one spike, one carefully placed spike, and then wait for the lightning to strike. Hammer coming, so not much Will can do here. Skips to the other side, has the meter. Ooh, but Will has the meter as well. Counter. Lightning comes once again. It's you do have to make a certain kind of commitment. You have to be relatively close in order to be able to utilize the lightning, or rather the plus frames that the lightning produces. So like it's not really a get in for free kind of a thing, even if you manage to queue up the error and then fire off the error and hit with the error. Yo, counter hit with the what's the move called? Hole in one? Home run? Something like that. Ooh, great snipe. Jump heavy. Small sequence, but small things do matter for this character. Put the afro on. Delilah coming to help. Is there help? Is there a way out of this? Afro has been lit, and even though Will does get the hit initially, he only did so much because the Afro is eventually going to explode and break your sequence. Meteors coming, and the classic day one. Cross up, left, right, teleport to the other side as the meteors are raining down. Very hard to see which side the teleport is gonna land on. And now, Will, with the tap glitch, I think that's actually landed before, or rather the hit before landed. RC, is there... Doesn't seem like there's a way out of this, but is there... No, the combo ain't even gonna kill. And then the reversal 5B. As an anti-air, we have the 50 meter. Oh, this could be a run back. But Will makes a really nice call here. Reversal super, one of the slower ones, but will definitely beat a... Or wait, does it beat close slashes? I think with standard close slash recovery, if done perfectly meaty, I think that might actually beat the reversal super from Bedman. Ooh, good items. Another hammer! Yo, we love the hammers on the Faust side. And Gusto able to... I don't want to say scam the round, but that was definitely a good streak of hammers when it counted the most. Definitely striking when the iron is hot. I mean, a lot of Faust players keep saying that the hammer is the item that you want in most scenarios. Like maybe when you are full screen, you're hoping for a jackpot on the meteors instead. But in this mid-close-ish range, it's just an insane guarantee that the opponent ain't gonna be doing anything, as the hammer is slowly raining down upon them. And working as a combo starter as well, if they dare to do anything. Ooh, got the tap dust straight through the wall. Via the error that was... Oh, what's that? Kai slide, late, forward, drift forward, RC kind of a thing. Trying to work the same. Yo, just wakes up with a 6 heavy. Are you for reals? Utilizing the threat of the reversal super and presses a button. That was the ballsiest wake up I've ever seen in my life. Was there a little bit of a charge as well? That is absolutely crazy. Leaving the trumpet behind, but that is fine. Oh, can we still pick it up? No, it's already gone. Maybe Delilah picked it up. She was laying around there somewhere. Alright, Gusto with very little life to spend here. Gets jabbed. Ooh, even a potential needle is gonna be the needle in the coffin here. Trades, unfortunately. I think that 2S here would be an okay trade because Will was jabbing into that, right? But alas, again, the lack of life works against Gusto big time. Minus on the wild assault, however, still gets to press buttons on that range. I guess Faust's buttons are like, you don't necessarily have the sort of the like win everything button from that spacing, because your Ks are a little bit slower than like a standard character. And gets combo just like that. Will has been able to turn on some sort of overdrive here in the last couple of games and this round as well. To the other side, that was sexy. Working with the jump D. Oh, and faking the jump in and going low instead. The classic mix-up game of Bedmans. Is it gonna be the dive into overhead, or is it gonna be an empty one into a throw or a low instead? And even with the overhead, you can double it up with jump D and do all sorts of nasty multi-overheads and stuff like that. Able to jab once again. What was the... Wait, what was that 5D? I mean, the 5D ends up working here, but what was... Wait. Huh. I'm so puzzled. I'm so puzzled by the choice of buttons here for Will. But I mean, it's working out, so there is definitely method behind the madness that mere mortals like us just cannot comprehend. You know, they do say that when you're in there, in the ring, trading punches with your opponent, you gain, especially like at a higher level, you do gain a lot of insight into the opponent's psyche. So it gets a little bit easier when you're actually the player out there to sort of see and maybe to predict what kind of stuff they are going to do. Speaking of predicting things, again, Will goes for the 5D. Maybe, was that a throw attempt? Is this like Hitbox playing tricks on you? I'm not even sure if Will plays with a Hitbox. Was that, wait, that overhead attempt was really crazy looking. Didn't end up working out. Was that an F-Shiki attempt? Does Bedman even have those? Ah, but a good drill here. Jump 2K. Catching Will, trying to sort of walk through the opponent. The idea is really good from both sides. Watching forward with the Beyblade. Gets the error, gets to utilize it as well. Here comes the bomb. It's a little bit too high. Exploding in the skies. Get afroed. Little chair. Bob does have to kind of spend the RC here in order to still maintain the pressure. Plus frames from the lava back, however, tried to follow it up with a very slow haymaker 6 heavy, which Will just doesn't end up taking. Interesting sequence here. Blue RC ends up completely whiffing. The life situation is rather even, as is the tension balance. Gusto still kind of needs a couple more strikes for the 50. There it is. What we're gonna do with that? Oh, that's a sexy instant air dash straight over the needle. However, we'll be able to pick up the trumpet. Jump D is gonna fall. That's a good block. Good presence of mind. Able to get that jump D, but then realizing that I can't pick up my combo. I can't pick up any sort of pressure here because the little guys are coming. And just like that, Will, just like that, will not find the hit, will not take the set, because Gusto still in it to win it. Making the trades when they matter the most, which is when Faust actually has health to spend. And when you're back against the corner against the senior player who is 6 points in an FT7. Bomb does get left behind. A little bit more concern for Will when you're literally standing on it and not like far enough in a position to use like 2P or fast buttons to bounce it to the opponent's side. The game of hot potato that Faust players force you to play sometimes. Wow, charging the full 5D, which Will just refuses to take at all. Slam him with the big malfunction. And set point once again, HiWill. Okay. The little guy ended up blocking the needle there, if I saw correctly. Is it like, wait, has it devolved into this? Both players are just swinging that 5D now. Neither player opting to low block. I mean, they're probably reacting as well. I mean, it is an online match, but it is completely feasible to block a fully charged 5D, which is around like 30 frames or so. So like should be fairly simple to stand up and block. Oh my god. What a meta are we playing? Has to respect after that, even after that wild assault hit because of the little guy. Throw them. Still alive, okay. It could be that Will is looking for a really flashy finish here. And he can kind of afford to do it as well, because like you have a big lead here still. Mutually assured destruction here. The lob back explodes in both players' faces. Tries it again. Maybe Will has a read. Oh, maybe Gusto has a read. That's gonna be a punish close slash. Good starter. Really nice when you can pull it together and not panic in a situation where you can indeed get a close slash punish instead of going for something small like 2K or God forbid like 2P or 5P. Oh, that's a lounge, but HiWill, no! Drops the combo, drops the winning combo. There's still a chance for Gusto to live, but no mercy. Choo-choo truck comes forward. Full invus with that white wild assault. that wasn't utilized all too much in this set. I guess it's a... Yeah, I guess it's kind of like a matchup that you... I mean, Faust does some amount of zoning as well, but... You know. Anyway. Really interesting last rounds there, but Will does end up getting it in the end. But Gusto putting up a really good fight, considering that, like, I would have... There are some universes where I would have not bet, like, any money at all. Depending on the odds, as, of course. Like, how much, like, what kind of odds do I have to get to put money on Gusto? But Gusto doing actually really well. Actually going sort of back-to-back, side-to-side, all the way through the early game and some of the mid-game as well. Sort of solidifying themselves as a really decent, like, higher intermediate / advanced player. But hey, we already knew that, didn't we? Didn't we? No way QK has no fate on the players appearing on bounty hunters or anything. I mean, you have to be, of course, realistic about, you know, the skill levels of the players, but I mean, this game especially is the kind of game where underdogs do some amazing shit sometimes. That's why it's, I think that's like one of the primary reasons why Guilty Gear Strive is often like really fun to watch. Because of that comeback potential that you can have. That would be our event of the evening. So what now? If you want to sign up for subsequent events, we do this every Sunday, 5 p.m. CET. If you want to sign up, you can join my Discord. The sign-up forms are going to be posted over there. And if you do, we're going to attempt to match you with another player of the same skill level. And we're going to do this again next week. Same time, same channel. Till then, I will bid you farewell now. Thank you all for watching. Hope you had fun with these weekly sets as much as I did. Always a pleasure. I'm gonna see you next week. Till then, stay safe and bye-bye.